Now, I started talking before. You talked a little bit, and I wasn't quite sure if you touched on this again later in the book, but you had a brother that passed away, too, as well.
Yeah, that's correct. That occurred in 1963, and I'm still not clear on the details. That's why I didn't write a whole lot about it in Dark Force, because some family members tell me one thing, and then others say another, and then yet others say that they don't even want to talk about it because it's been so long ago. So the gist of it is there was a male born in 1963, and for whatever reasons, Johns Hopkins Hospital ended up coming and taking the little boy's remains from my parents' residence for studies. So whatever that means, it had to be something.
For studies,
it had to be something very unusual, I will say, for Johns Hopkins to come and remove the remains for studies.
And nobody ever talked about it again.
No, and they didn't want to either. And there's very little of my family left, and the ones that are left, they don't want to speak about it, or they don't remember, and they say, oh, it was so long ago, and they're just very reluctant to speak on it.
And then that brings me to something else I saw in your book that was really interesting. It was a picture of you, but you weren't by yourself.
Yeah, that was in 1969, and it's an amazing photograph because, again, I never knew this photograph existed until my sister, a few Christmases ago, gave me some old family photographs that had belonged to my mother, and this was in with the photographs. And I've had so many experiences in my life. If I were to list all the experiences I've had, you would have a series, a Bill Bean series, a week-long series of Bill Bean shows here. So
maybe you need to contact Discovery Channel again.
Yeah. Somebody told me one time, you don't have a movie here, you've got a mini-series.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just mind-boggling, it really is. But I've taken many, many bizarre photographs of anomalous phenomena over the years, so it's second nature for me. When I'm looking at a photo, I'm looking for things in the photograph as well. And sure enough, this photo in particular, it's not hard to find several different types of beings in this photo with me. And again, I'm 3 years old. It happened in 1969. It was before we moved into the house. So that tells you right there that something was going on before even moving into the house.
Right.
And it's bizarre. There are many different types of beings in this photograph, including 3 that are behind me in a single file. And, you would look at it and say, okay, well, is it a double exposure? Well, take a look at the arms and the hands, and they are positioned differently in the photograph. So there's no way it's a double exposure. And then when you look more closely at it, you'll see different faces in and around me. It's just whatever happened during that photograph. I mean, it's like a doorway was opened up or something. But there are many other photographs as well, Stacy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
your book has a
absolutely
ton of
mind-boggling.
pictures. It's crazy. Yeah. Now, when you get to town, I want you to hook up with Mike here because he sees dead people. And so he's like a Reiki master, and so I think you're going to be a treat for him.
Oh, my God. It's like, Billy, you're going to be my new best friend, dude.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I look forward to it, Mike. I really do. I can't wait. My wife and I are both very, very excited about being a part of the community there.
Cool.
And if there's a house you see on the internet that you like, I don't know if that's how you're planning on looking at houses. I'll send Mike in first to get a read on how it's feeling before you move into
we'll have to have him go in first.
We'll do a little space clearing before you move in.
Yeah.
Which is
Praise God.
Funny. A lot of people have actually asked me to do that for them.
Yeah, do a little saging and a little space clearing.
A little clearing of the house, make sure there's no bad juju. So, Bill,
well, I highly recommend that, for anyone that is moving into a new space like that, to do some sort of blessing, because you just don't know. Honestly, you don't know what could be there lingering or lurking, and I certainly wouldn't wish any of the experiences that we endured in that house on anyone.
Yeah.
Now, has anybody from coast to coast, like Art Bell or George Nooney, have they contacted you yet?
Oh, yeah. I was on Coast to Coast on April 3rd, and it was April 3rd.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, they've contacted me again. I'm going to be going back on soon, but it was just unbelievable the amount of response that I got from that show. I get messages from people all over. It's a real blessing, and I really thank everybody for their great messages.
Well, you know, I think people admire you because I probably can't name too many people who haven't had an experience.
Some supernatural experience.
And not everybody wants to talk about it, you know. So I think they probably admire you, and you sort of give them a sort of a freedom to be able to share some of that stuff that they probably haven't shared with anybody else.
Well, I thank you, and I tell you, I've gotten some disturbing messages over the last couple of years. People that are near suicide, that have nowhere else to turn. They've gone to their church and to their pastor, and in some instances, I've got messages where the person says, "Well, I went to my pastor, and my pastor says he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to handle that." And I'm like, he doesn't know how to handle it. What I don't. Again, without criticizing anybody, I know exactly how to handle it, and he should know that as well. So, I mean, it's really, really mind-boggling. There's a lot of people in need nowadays, and, again, I answer every single message. I'm up till 4, sometimes 5 a.m. answering emails. It's like a full-time job.
So, Bill, besides actually contacting you, if one of our listeners was kind of experiencing some traumatic stuff, maybe not to the same degree that you had to deal with, what would be one thing or a couple of things you could tell them that might give them a little peace of mind, or something that they could go home today and do to maybe help with some supernatural situations?
Well, for anyone that would want my advice on that, I would suggest to please email me. And if you go to billbean.net or billbean.biz, you can click on the contact section and click on that email address, and that's my personal email. So I'll get the message, and I will respond to your message. I do have something that I would attach that is my advice on banishing demons.
Okay. So they can get like a little a sheet or something that you can.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. All right. It's very interesting. Dark Force, and they can also get that on your websites, correct, Bill?
That is correct. Yeah, that's the easiest place to get it. Either of the sites, billbean.net or billbean.biz.
All right.
Awesome. So, Bill, when are you guys planning on coming to Bismarck?
Well, we're hoping sooner than later. We're thinking probably sometime around this time next year. But, again, I leave it all up to God, and hopefully He'll guide us there even before then. So we'll just see how it all shakes out. But I'm very much looking forward to meeting and being good friends with you guys, and I certainly appreciate your help.
You're going to come here earlier because I have a show that you're going to do.
You don't know this, but...
But I have a special slot in mind that I think you need to do. I think we need some, because we've been interviewing guests like yourself, all this week on the radio station. It had such a huge response. I'm like, well, when Bill gets here, I'm putting him to work. He's going to start his own show.
I'm ready. Hey, it's funny you say that because I have said to my wife that I felt like I was going to have my own radio show or some type of show at some point. Yeah, I really have been saying that.
Yeah, and then I don't care. You can go on and syndicate it or whatever as long as you do it here. That's fine by me.
We could start our own little coast to coast.
We could.
Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, and that's, again, and that is my aim, to have a show to where I would reach out to people in need and just help those people in any way possible and put them into contact with people that can help them. I just think it would be a tremendous service to be able to, and a tremendous blessing for me. I just feel that that's what God wants me to do with my life, and I'm certainly doing the best that I can to achieve that.
Well, congratulations, because you got your show.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, guys.
I have a very spiritual family. My daddy's a deacon, and so I knew it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
God came to me and said, you need to have this Bill Bean under your employ. You need to.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how, and again, this is how God works. There is no such thing as coincidence in life.
No,
and
absolutely.
God, He will definitely put people into your path and into your life, and He'll also take them out as well. So I just praise Him and thank Him for everything. And that would be such a blessing, Stacy.
All right. Well, I'm going to look for a house for you. And we'll see you and your wife here in about 2 weeks.
Wouldn't that be great?